Coach, it's been evident this year that you guys have a theme each week. What is it this week after a tough loss to EIU?
This week we went with believe. Um, just when you get into a ball game, some things don't go your way, and some things start happening. You gotta find a way to believe that you can pull it out, and I think we do. I go back and I look at the season on all the games that we've other than the SEMO game, really. Every game we've been in up until the very end. The SEMO game, I felt like we never could get over the hump in that one. But every game, I don't think that there's been a time where, I've turned around and looked to the sideline and everybody's just kind of been checked out. Um, everybody has been checked in, but we've got to make sure that we believe each and every week when we go out there that good things are going to happen to us. And on the flip side of that, we've got to believe in the process of Sunday through Friday. Believe the things that we're doing are going to help us get that win and get this program over the hump and get it on that roll and all of that kind of stuff. So we've gone with believe this week, and it's got a bunch of different meanings, but some of which kind of stay in house.
Yep. Can you talk a little bit about the development of Marquez Sanford? Obviously, he had a great play from the very get-go.
Yeah.
And defensively, you guys were, as you say, in it until about the middle of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no doubt. Black, we call him Black, and I tell you, he's a gamer. He's one that he's a true freshman. He's out there. He's very he's got great anticipation on some things that are going on. He's able to digest what he's seeing and move very quickly and get to his spot. And he does some things sometimes that maybe he's not in his spot, so to speak, but he just kind of can feel it happening in front of him, and he's doing a great job for us back there. Like I said, like you said, the first play of the ball game, he picked six, went to the house, and it doesn't really surprise me because I see that a lot during the week. I mean, he's making those type plays in Skelly and some things like that. So he's a tremendous asset for us back there on that back end.
From an injury standpoint, you talked a lot about having a piece and put together some patchwork defense late in the second half. Is that a concern coming into this Saturday?
Yeah, we've got 14 injured right now, so we're doing it on both ends of the spectrum. We're piecing and patching together offensively and doing the same thing defensively, but I think everybody is to a certain extent. Right now it's just luck of the draw, and we've had some guys go out and get dinged up, some of which may be back, but right now, all in all, there's about 14 questionable for the game. So we'll shuffle some personnel around and make it work. And I think after watching the game Sunday, I think that was what I was the most encouraged about and excited about was we were having to do that during the game. Especially the third quarter and fourth quarters, we were having to do some things and put some kids in some situations and some places that they haven't played before. And we had some guys, man, that went out there and made some plays. They did a good job for us. They showed up on film. On the defensive side of the ball, some guys on the offensive side of the ball just did a tremendous job being put in a bad situation. So that was very encouraging.
From an offensive standpoint on Saturday, your team kind of struggled at times during the game. What do you feel that the offense could do to kind of correct overcome what they
We've got to convert on third downs. Our third downs right now are horrendous, and part of that was my fault Saturday because we had a package. We had one particular package that we were going to do on third and short, third and medium situations. Because of the injuries that we had, that package was out. So we were kind of scrambling a little bit on third and shorts, third and mediums, trying to make something work, trying to figure out what we could do versus some of the pressures and things of that nature. And, just like I said, it just was what it was, man. We were just, we were holding on for dear life there, especially after the first half, just because, you had Kingston goes down, our left guard, then our right guard, he goes out with a concussion. We put a true freshman in there that in Quan that had never played guard before. We were out of the package that we had gone into the game that we had practiced. We spent a lot of time during practice working that particular package and so on and so forth, and weren't able to do it. And then and then we had some issues out wide, and it was a two receiver package, and And the running backs coach at one point, he said, "Hey, we need to get into that, that particular package because you're down at wide receiver and go into your 2-receiver package." And I said, I don't. If I called the plays, they wouldn't even know who the Z was and the X was right now. I said, well, I can't do that either. So, I guess that's what makes coaching fun.
So, it just seemed like in the situation that you're in with injuries and shuffling guys around, it's kind of. The offense is kind of limited right now?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's just it's just a matter of last night coming in here and staying maybe a little bit later than we normally do and trying to figure out exactly where we are. And today doing the same thing. That's what we've been doing all afternoon, all morning. Trying to figure out exactly where we are and put some things together and package the guys that we have and then just keep our fingers crossed. For tomorrow. A couple of guys tomorrow will be a telltale day whether they're going to be back or not, and we'll keep our fingers crossed with that. So I wouldn't say limited. Do I have my druthers right now? Do I have am I too deep everywhere? No. I'm at some spots I'm one deep, and then I got a swing guy that's going to have to know maybe 4 positions. But we'll make it work. Some kind of way we'll make it work.
I noticed Tennessee State and Austin Peay last week combined for 438 yards of total offense.
Yeah.
You had 427 last week, just as the Racers. TSU, a team that's really struggling on offense, and a lot of that, according to their coach, is due to injuries. He said he's had a slew of them. I know they'd lost their quarterback for a while, that freshman Ackerman Carter, but they do have him back.
Yeah, and hopefully we can continue them on that. On their offensive output. Hopefully they can have another Saturday like that. But he's dealing with the same things. I think his starting quarterback went down versus UT Martin, and like I said, everybody's got some injuries right now. Everybody's doing the same thing we are. And it's everybody's injury report gets longer and longer as the season goes on. But I hope from their standpoint offensively, it's as boring as it was last Saturday, and for us. We've got to figure out a way. Like I said, we've got to figure out a way to stay on the field and get in the end zone a little bit more. And a lot of that has to do with just third down conversions.
TSU does have outstanding defense. They seem to year after year, usually big and very fast. Are they the same this year?
Oh yeah, they are. Probably even more so this year. Their defensive front. Man, they got some guys that can move and they're big and linebacking crew, man, they're long and lean and they can run, and the back end, the back end's pretty talented, so they're like any other. I've always said Tennessee State, man, when you walk out on the field, you feel like you're playing the New York Jets or somebody. They're probably the best looking team that you'll play, and it'll be the same this year too.
From an offensive standpoint, with them having so many injuries, what do you expect out of their offense coming into this weekend?
I would probably think that they'll want to control the clock, and try to control the line of scrimmage a little bit. Maybe take the ball out of, their quarterback's hands a little bit, and try to lean on us a little. I'm sure that they. It's no secret. I mean, they'll watch the tape. They'll see that some of our defensive guys are out on the defensive front, some things like that. They'll probably lean on us a little bit and try to just control the clock, milk the clock, try to keep our offense off the field as much as possible. I would imagine, I think it's going to be kind of run, play action, take it over the top type game, and try to hit some big plays and just try to keep us off the field as much as possible.
You were talking about those 14 guys that are questionable for this weekend. Jeremy Harness kind of pulled up with a hamstring. Is he the type of guy that's going to be questionable? Janowski Davis.
Yeah.
Who are we looking at?
Yeah, I mean, you got some wideouts and some like I said, some offensive linemen, some defensive linemen. Shoot, man, right now there's so many I can't even think. I couldn't even tell them by name to you, but we've got. We're spread out, there's a few at every position, it seems like. The specialists are okay, so that's good, knock on wood. But other than that, and the quarterback, knock on wood. But other than that, it's kind of spread out. We got a couple at every spot, it seems like. So we're doing some cross training and some teach this guy a little bit here and then teach him a little bit here and teach this guy a little bit there and a little bit there and just trying to make it work.
Who are some of the wide receivers you hope step up if Harness and Davis aren't 100%?
Well, you know, Paul's got to continue to be solid for us. Paul Rice, he's done a tremendous job for us. He's got to step up. Guys like Jordan Gandy, you know, are going to be thrown into a role where he's got to step up. You know, Jesse Blackburn was thrown into that role Saturday. I thought he did a tremendous job. Had 2 touchdown catches for us. Mitch Stoltz is probably going to be a swing guy for us. He's going to have to know everything, a little bit of everything. There's a good chance that Pokey Harris is going to have to play a little bit bigger role offensively, you know, rather than in returner. So there's a couple of guys that are going to have to either continue what they're doing or we're going to lean on them a little bit more, and we'll see how they do.